I've been leading a Bible study on boundaries, and there's 10 laws of boundaries, but this one here is, I want to read this with you. It's about the law of envy, and it says this about envy. Envy defines good as what I do not possess and hates the good that it has. And I want you to think about, in the scheme of boundaries, think about you and your life, and your purpose is inside a confined property with fences. It's your space, it's your life, it's what God has, made available to you. Envy starts when we start looking outside of our boundaries, when we start looking across the fence at what other people have. And I loved what this taught, because it said this: if you are envying, if you are looking outside of your boundaries, the defined area that God has you in at this moment, then it means you're lacking something. And one of the suggestions it said was, if you find yourself envying someone, you need to stop for a moment and ask God, why is it that you are envying what someone else has, or who someone else is, or what someone else is doing? Because when we relate to that, we're recognizing that this is not inside of my boundary. It's outside of my boundary, outside of the scope of where God has me right now. And, sometimes we get caught up in Facebook posts, social media posts about what people have and what people are doing and the state of their life, when ours may look like it's falling to pieces. But the thing is that when we challenge the envy, when we say, God, why am I feeling envious about this person, or about this situation, or about this thing? That means sometimes we're lacking something in here that only God can fill. And what we don't want to do is start exceeding our boundary lines into the lives of other people and what other people have or what other people are doing, when we really need to be mainly focused on our property inside our boundary at this moment in our life, and the purpose that God has for us. I talk about purpose all the time because we really need to define our purpose. Once you find your purpose, you fuel it with passion, there is a contentment that comes into your soul, only because God has given you that, because you are staying in bounds of your boundaries, because you are doing what God has called you to do. Shake it off. The next time that you find yourself in that predicament and you're thinking, oh, I wish I had, or I wish I were, remember who you are and where you are and who you are there with, who is leading you, who is guiding you. If the enemy can distract us across our neighbor's property lines, then what we think about and what we think upon has us. So let's challenge ourselves that when we feel envious again, that we remember to stop for a moment, and as they say, smell the roses. Look what's going on. Look what we have inside of our property lines. May we be content because we are filled with Him. There is a really fine line between contentment and complacency. God always wants to move us forward. We cannot be passive in who we are, but we cannot depend upon other people's things to pacify us either. That true commitment, that true love, that true passion for God, to seek Him, to be thirsty for Him, when you do that and you're so consumed with getting closer to Him and what He has for you and what your mission is for you to do, it's hard to take time to look across the fence because you're so busy about the Father's business. So today, evaluate yourself. If you feel like you're envying something, stop. Just think about, here's who I am in Christ. This is where He has me at this moment, and let me embrace exactly everything that He has for me, and let me utilize every tool and every gift that I have to move the kingdom forward. Just keep your eyes on Him and quit looking across the fence.